Talk to me about meditation and psychedelics, because these are ways of maybe communicating with that hypnosis part of the brain. Because my experience here on London Real with plant medicine ayahuasca, it actually is like someone else giving you feedback about yourself, and it's usually not what you want to hear. It's usually very critical and a lot of times very true. Is this a way of simulating that other person?
Yes, and let's first understand about psychedelics. If you take a drug, any of the psychedelics, and it affects you, that means you have a receptor built into the system already, because you didn't make the receptor waiting to see if you ever take the drug. You have a receptor because you can make that drug, okay? So first of all, it's just a natural experience, but you're enhancing it because you're not normally working on that level.
Okay.
But I put those receptors, I activate them with the drug, and now I'm there.
And you say this to people so they know, because a lot of people have adverse reactions to the word drug.
Yes.
It's the foreign, it's illegal, it's bad for me. And you preface this by saying, look, the only reason it works is because the receptor's there, which means it's there for a reason. We produce maybe lower quantities of this naturally. And
but you could, but that's a control thing.
Okay.
You can enhance it, okay? So it's very important to recognize this is a manipulation of your nervous system. You could do this on your own, but then some people like master meditators or yogis. I can't remember which yogi it was who it was probably with Ram Dass, and they gave the yogi acid, and the yogi took the acid, and it's like, so why? Well, he's normally working on that level, so it wasn't a big change in his life. It was just he was already creating from a disconnect of conscious and subconscious, so his conscious mind was more in power.
So the receptors are there. Now talk about these.
Well, the receptors control the behavior of the cell. So psychedelics alter the behavior from our conventional way and expand our consciousness and amplify things, which is good and bad, depending. If you're in a bad place, don't take a drug because you're going to amplify that. So, being in a good
maybe
place.
That's a good thing for you.
Well,
it might change your behavior.
It's called a bad trip, and if you learn from it, that's really cool. But most people, it's just a bad trip, and they actually go the other way from a bad trip. I'll never do that again.
I had a guest on one time who was an expert in psilocybin mushrooms, and he said, Brian, there are no bad trips. You are just learning at a rate that you are not accustomed to.
Yeah, and facing things that you may not want to see. And that's the bigger issue. That's like when you're in a relationship and your partner gives you a feedback, the first tendency is to resist and protect yourself. You called me a what?
Yeah.
Hands up, stop, that's it. I'm not listening, I'm shutting off, I'm in protection. But the reality is, maybe you needed to hear this.
Like the woman on the yacht, that was probably could be qualified as a bad trip. You were learning at a rate you weren't accustomed to. Ouch, that really hurt you saying that I'm needy.
Absolutely.
And yet you got all this growth on the back.
Oh, 100%. That was the most, I can remember walking away from that and going back to my place and looking at it going, how can you not be happy? Look where the hell you are. And it was learning happiness. I had to learn it.
Okay. And finishing up on the psychedelic. So you were saying good, bad trips, magnifying your reality. What are your other thoughts on that?
Well, I think they're quite useful for people who need to learn, and there are other people who don't need them. A yogi, as I said, can do it through all the meditation and all the other practices of conscious control. It takes time, it's effort, and you can do it. No, that's not a joke, that's real. Or take that acid hit, take that psilocybin mushroom, and boom, you're being pushed into learning right now, okay? And it's really, really wonderful if you understand. If you don't understand, it's like, and you should be a little older because as you're older, the meaning of what's happening has more influence on you. When you're younger, it's just, wow, that was really trippy. It's like you didn't learn anything in that one. So it really is a useful element to affect your life if you use it in that useful element way, okay? Because it could be a party drug.
Right. Because you can kind of hack into your conscious mind.
Yeah.
A lot like listening to things when you're asleep. It's a way of getting into that subconscious mind through another means.
Absolutely.
Okay.